Hello everyone, welcome back. This is the second part of the tutorial where I'm going to color this sketch with watercolor. If you haven't watched the first part, the link to the first video is in the video description below. So for this particular sketch, I'm going to be painting with my Sennelier Aqua-Mini set because I really want to use up all the paint in that tiny box. So I just started painting the page with my squirrel brush. I just wet the sky with clean water before I added cerulean blue to the sky to let the blue blend into the white of the paper. Now this paper that I'm using, this is the Indigo Art Papers watercolor that is made with 100% cotton, so it handles wet on wet techniques really well. I actually got the paper bound into a sketchbook by the Society of Physical Disabled here in Singapore. My strategy to painting this sketch is to paint the large areas first and then paint the bright vibrant colors, and the next step would be to paint the shadows over the colors when needed, and the last step is to basically add contrast by adding the blacks. So now I'm just painting all the little details with bright colors, painting the side of the wall. So this shop house has vertical strips of colors running down the wall on the side. This color that I'm painting is supposed to be pink, and for that I mixed it with French vermilion and a little bit of yellow and diluted it. So to get pink, you can actually just dilute red. For the green that I'm using now, that is actually Sennelier's sap green, which is not a very intense green. I don't like it at all. It looks very weak. So just now you notice I painted it a bit more bluish to get the darker tones, to get the contrast that I needed. So later on in this sketch, you will see me paint it with another green that is mixed with the yellow and French ultramarine. So now I'm back to painting the details for this building. At the bottom left, I'm painting the blacks, the pillars, the windows. And when this initial wash is dry, later on I will paint in another layer just to make the blacks. So the sunlight is actually coming from the right side. Actually the sunlight is coming from where I'm pointing the camera. So some of the shadows are not going to be very easy to spot, especially the shadows on the ground. So again, here I use a little bit of artistic impression to paint the shadows on the ground. But for the side of the wall of the building on the right side, I could see the shadows and I need to paint those shadows. I notice that I have painted the shadows over the signboards. So for the trees here, I have just mixed my own green with yellow, ultramarine, and a little bit of red just to get it much darker. And for this tall building behind, notice I did not paint all the windows. I just dabbed some of the windows here and there. You don't have to paint all the windows. This is actually a very fun sketch to paint. It may look like it has a lot of details, and it certainly does. It may feel overwhelming to draw all these details, to paint all these details, but as you work your way slowly across the larger areas first and then work your way down to the little details, you will find it much more manageable. Because I'm actually drawing on this single page, I actually have the left page for painting, for creating some of my color mixes. So you may find it helpful to create some color mixes on the opposite page just to see what kind of mixtures, what kind of colors you can get. Because sometimes when you are painting, especially with a new palette or especially with a palette that you haven't used for a long time, you may not remember the color mixes. So for instance, in this case, if I had tested the sap green in advance, I wouldn't have used that sap green. So sometimes it's good to test your colors first. So this is pretty much the completed sketch. You can see the tall buildings behind, not a lot of details. Basically, I just wanted to get the height behind as a comparison to the short buildings in front. And also for the buildings behind, they are just in black and white. They contrast very nicely to the colorful orange rooftops in front. Alright, that's all for this time-lapse tutorial. If you want to check out the full-length tutorial, or if you want to check out all the tutorials that I have made since 2016, consider supporting me on Patreon. Patreon is a monthly subscription service where you can pledge a certain dollar amount to support the artists that you like. It is your support that allows me to create all sorts of videos on my YouTube channel. So thank you very much, especially my patrons, for helping me out. That's also one of the main reasons why you don't see any sort of advertisement or sponsorship in my videos. Okay, so that's all for today's video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.